Hey guys, welcome down to the bleachers. This week, obviously, we've got a new face here. Hopefully, it'll become quite a bit of a regular. I enjoy hanging out with Ron here quite a bit. Ron Mont from RNJ Sports. Chris Ransom. Obviously, Chris has a little bit more gift to gab than I do, but this is under the bleachers, and take us off where you will, Chris.
Yep, we're gonna have some fun tonight. We're gonna be talking puck. We're also gonna be talking ball. I know because I had a I had
Fucking
football.
ball. Hmm.
We're gonna be talking football. We're gonna be talking football. We're gonna be talking hockey. We're gonna be talking football. I figured we'd get some props out. You've seen the Tanner Bortolini autograph football from Colts camp, but I got this last year. It's a Wyatt Johnston autograph puck, 26 power play goal last night from Wyatt Johnston.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and his
Nice.
first goal that someone's selling his first goal on eBay, and it's under. I shouldn't say the price number because if I say it's going to go up as soon as this show ends. So, but yeah, let's get into some hockey, some football. Oh yeah, I didn't forget about the other props because the wager you won, William. William was going to do a teaspoon of cinnamon if the Stars beat the Avalanche, but since the Avalanche beat the Stars, I have to do a teaspoon of honey and garlic powder at the end of the show. But that's at the very end.
Oh,
After.
wait. Oh,
After.
wait. No. Okay.
After. And if William tells me I have to do it off the air, that's fine too. But let's just get through.
I don't know. You
Let's
might
get to
you
hockey.
might get some bonus points if you puke on air, bro. I mean,
Ha. Well, you know what? I'll be honest with you, man. For real, you probably have the better end of the deal there, Chris, because cinnamon is a battle you can't win.
it,
I
Joey
am
said it
not
it's
wasn't a
kidding.
fair bet, so I had to include the garlic powder with the honey to make it a fair bet.
Oh, so
yeah.
you
I
okay?
kind of I kind of have a little bit of a gift there that I can actually get a teaspoon of cinnamon down. Well, at least last time I tried it, it's been
All right,
about a decade, but
I've got the
I
game
figured it was
set
a
up.
rip shot.
I've
Okay,
got
but
I've got the
that
games
that's
set up.
usually
We're gonna watch Verhoeff, and then after we watch Verhoeff, we are going to we're gonna watch we can watch Zane Durant. So we want to watch the Quinnipiac game or the Merrimack game. The Quinnipiac game was his last game. He did have a point in that game, so we will watch the player shifts for Quinnipiac from the last game. Frozen Fours tomorrow. I think Michigan beats Denver, and I like North Dakota over Wisconsin, but I wouldn't be surprised if Wisconsin won the Frozen Four because Logan Hensler from last year's draft, and not just that, Ron. It's Big Ten, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin winning over Michigan in hockey would complete the Big Ten trifecta. It literally would, but
yeah.
we'll
I gotta
see.
be honest with you. North Dakota was pretty. We that was pretty much a count on. We pretty much counted on them being there. You know what I mean? Denver was kind of one of our sleeper picks. You know what I mean? So expected those guys to be there. You know what I mean? Wisconsin, hey man, they deserve to be right there,
I
right?
believe 16 is Keaton Verhoeff. I'm just double checking.
His number is 18 for
18.
North Dakota.
There he is. All right. I've got the
Yeah,
mount glued in. I think you guys can see the screen, but yeah.
yeah. I got to tell you,
I like how he fights for the puck. And I watched him last year when the WHL games of the week were on, so I got to see him twice last year. This guy is dang good. I mean, he was able to beat out Justin Pipke, who was a overager for the number one defenseman spot on Victoria last year as a 16-year-old or 17-year-old, I think. but he's in his +1 year. And I don't know how to make it automatically mute. I think it just automatically plays with the volume on. But there you see Verhoeff breaking up a pass, a Quinnipiac pass, and he just really does a good job anticipating where the puck goes. And the guy, I feel like, William, what's your early impression of Verhoeff? I feel like you like Verhoeff, but not as much as McKenna, but more than Stenberg, the Swedish guy we watched.
Yeah, definitely McKenna. You know, I mean, he's got that attitude, and I mean, Verhoeff. Obviously, he's a small school prospect from North Dakota State, and you know all that good stuff.
But they used to be the North Dakota Indians, and they had to change their name. But they were the Indians back when they had Jonathan Taves, before he was drafted by the Blackhawks 3rd overall.
Man, you know, natives are so proud that we actually, you know, nickname some of our teams after them. I mean, that is the biggest misconception when it comes to that. So I just had to throw that in there.
Yeah, because they used to be the North Dakota Fighting Sioux, and they used to have an Indian for a logo, but now I think it's just the North Dakota.
Yeah, for sure. But no, man, my first impressions are obviously, you know, I'm just getting into this hockey thing about watching these guys, but definitely, you know, I mean, I could definitely see some similarities there. I mean,
you like him?
Yeah. I definitely think he's a good prospect. You know, I always, you know, make analogies towards football, you know, and it's kind of watching Bryce Lance, you know, Trey Lance's little brother, you know, and he obviously plays for North Dakota State, you know.
Yes, he's projected to go 3rd overall in the draft. I don't know if he'll go that high. We might see a center get pushed up to 3. I think it just depends on how the lottery ends up playing out. But I think he'll be the first defender picked.
For sure. But yeah, like I said, I definitely am liking what I'm seeing from this kid so far, and understanding, you know, the situation of what's going on here. So yeah,
definitely. I've had him in the number 2 spot behind McKenna since the preseason. I've had Stenberg at 3. I did move Stenberg up to 1 in the midseason mock, but that's because I think Vancouver has Stenberg atop their board, not because I think he's the best player in the draft. That's just... But we'll see what happens. I know there's a play where Verhoeff has a point, probably an assist on one of the goals, and... You know, the defense with Verhoeff is great two-way defenseman, and right now, I think you've got the lottery's not going to be until Cinco de Mayo, but whoever gets the number 2 pick, if Vancouver's in a great spot, because even if they lose the 2 lottery drawings, they're probably going to get number 3, and they will get who's ever left over between Verhoeff and Stenberg, because obviously McKenna's probably going to go first.
Yeah, for sure. But you know,
wow. I'm kind of not in that. I'm not in that house. I think you're going to see a Tynan Lawrence sneak in there in the top 3, maybe, depending on who gets. Do you know what I mean? Like if Chicago gets the number 1 pick, then I think you might see a Stenberg or a Verhoeff. You know what I'm saying? If Vancouver gets the number 1 pick, then you might see a Tynan Lawrence or a Daxon Rudolph even crop into that. You know what I mean? It's all going to depend on who's going to get the first round pick.
I agree entirely. Whoever gets the number, I think McKenna is the best player, but I don't think he's guaranteed to go first. I think it largely depends on who gets. Well, wait. I think. All right. Can you see now?
This was a great showing by North Dakota. I mean, it was a shame about Quinnipiac, but this was a great showing from North Dakota game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't realize that I didn't have the first period of tape on the air, but I don't think we saw the assist yet. And Verhoeff, number 18. That's my fault, guys.
No, it's all right.
Well, we've had a good conversation. I've been watching, and Verhoeff's one of these guys that we felt checked off a lot of boxes when we watched his +1 tape and his tape this year. So I don't know.
Both of you guys have watched tape on him?
I just started. I was watching it over here on my laptop while Chris was talking, so I was kind of tracking on what he was going off of.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys had done a show on him before.
I did a scouting report on him on Draft Prospect Hockey because my role there is the NCAA content. All the college hockey players in this year's NHL draft, I'm supposed to scout them, so I have done some work on him. And he looks good. I think, but, we might see. I think Verhoeff's probably going to go to the NHL this year, and then the other guys like Verhoeff, Stenberg will probably get another year in Sweden, and then come up after his Sweden season is over.
Maybe.
And then I think we'll probably see the same thing with Verhoeff that we saw with guys like Porter Martone, Anton Frondel, guys who returned to develop for most of the year, but then came up as late additions once their season was done.
Like maybe Tynan Lawrence will get picked and then go back to Boston, play, the next year there, and then at the end of that season come up or whatever the case is.
But he's going to have to beat out Caleb Malhorta for that top-line center job with Boisvert gone. Those two are basically not just competing to be the first center picked in this draft, but to be the first-line center on the Boston U next year with Sasha Boisvert now on the Blackhawks.
Right. So, but it's been amazing watching his progression go from when Tynan Lawrence first joined the Muskegon Lumberjacks, and then going from there, and then missing time with some injury, and then coming back and playing, and then that team basically saying you need to go to your college team now.
Yeah, I agree. The progression's been incredible.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at this guy's history, a former goaltender. I mean, obviously the IQ is there. I'm always that guy to love, seeing some of these guys. I'm a tight end guy, and seeing them as former quarterbacks and former receivers, playing other positions, and knowing so much of the field or so much of the ice in this situation. I mean.
Yeah, North Dakota State did win this game 5-0, so I'm guessing we saw all the goals, all the assists. When do you want to pivot to Zane Durant, William? I'm thinking we'll give it another minute or two. It's 8:49. Yeah. We'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll probably pivot to Durant.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely taking a look at some of these prospects and just
the way he takes up space is so it makes it impossible for Quinnipiac to shoot the puck.
He's got the intangibles, right? He's 6'4", 212, right? Yeah. He's a big body, and a lot of times, a lot of players that have those big bodies in the juniors, it's difficult for them to transition into the NHL because they're not quite really sure how to use that body to their advantage, because now guys are the same size in the NHL.
Yeah. The thing I think that makes Verhoeff special is he has that 6'4" body
right.
like Aaron Ekblad, but he's got the intangibles of someone like Miro Heiskanen on Dallas, or maybe not as advanced. He doesn't have Miro's stamina yet, but he has his intangibles, his mindset.
He's got a very deep hockey IQ. He's got really good anticipation. I really like how he plays his position, but then he's also willing to be that sacrifice to be that last line of defense. I mean, instead of always trying to go for the points and go for the shot or the goal, he's also worried about, playing defense, which, hey, all right. I mean, he's a +7 on the year. Come on.
Yeah, his plus minus is very good, and that's the thing. He may not be a guy that we'll see if he's a Norris. It's very hard to win the Norris now. It's basically
wow. I mean, I don't know about all that yet, man. Let's just get him drafted first,
Yeah, getting drafted, getting on the team. Let's see how he develops. But it's very hard to win the Norris. Like, you have to basically be an offensive defenseman now. I'm not saying he's going to do it or he's not going to do it. It's too early to have that conversation. I'm in complete agreement with you, Ron. I'm just saying that,
if North Dakota wins the Frozen Four, which they have a shot, okay, if they win the Frozen Four, I think you'll see him. That will solidify his draft potential, especially if he plays well in those games.
Yeah, North Dakota has not given up a goal in this entire tournament.
Okay, right?
So if they finish with 2 more shutouts, I would think that positions Verhoeff ahead of Stenberg, maybe even ahead of McKenna too.
And as much as I watched a lot of tape on Stenberg too, right? And I really like him as well. And being, like I said, I'm a Penn State guy, so I got to watch a lot of McKenna. You know what I mean? But I also got to see a lot of Tynan Lawrence. I also interviewed Tynan Lawrence. He's a Prospect Watch alum. Okay. And I really feel that his hockey IQ and his leadership abilities and the fact that he plays center is going to vault him into that conversation of at least.
Yeah, but Caleb Malhorta is very good too, and he took Jake O'Brien's job, and Jake O'Brien was the 8th pick in last year's draft, and he's now the number 2 center on the brand.
Right.
Malhorta.
So, I mean, he's going to have to be – he's a legit top 5 pick.
All right, William, William said off the air, after we do a defensive show like this, we need to do an offensive one where we do a football player on offense and a hockey player. If we go with the center, do you want to watch Lawrence, the guy Ron likes, or Malhorta? I will let you make that call. I'm going to let William make that call, and then we'll probably transition into the Zane Durant tape, the football tape.
Yeah, I would love to see Ron's guy. I mean,
Tynan Lawrence wins, okay. And we can watch the other guy too. Maybe watch 2 football players. We'll see.
Where's the easy button? That was easy.
Yep. That was easy.
You're going to be blown away. Like as much as you are going to be blown away by watching Keaton Verhoeff, I think you're going to be blown away by watching Tynan Lawrence. And watch some of his if this is what you want to do a deep dive on, watch some of his first games with Muskegon, watch some of his last games, and then watch his progression at Boston, right? And he also played extremely well in junior championships too. Okay, I mean the kid was just skates above everybody, I think.
Yeah. All right. I'm on YouTube right now. I'm debating, okay, do we want to I'm looking at what's available here basically. We've got Zane Durant highlights. We've got what do you want me to pull up, William? Because I'm not sure I can do like a deep dive without getting a copyright strike. I really don't want to get a copyright strike, so I'll pull up some highlights, but
I definitely understood, man.
I don't want to pull up game film for the reason out of fear of getting a copyright strike. So I'll pull up some highlights. I'm not going to pull up game film, but I will pull up some highlights on Zane Durant here. And
Henry remains the lone setback. Close to the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, 28 is Zane Durant, guys. So for everyone at home wanting to scout Zane Durant, 28 on Penn State is Zane Durant.
the guy blowing up things in the middle.
Yes.
You're right. Tackles
Okay.
for loss on a regular basis. You know what I mean?
6'1", 290 pounds.
Oh,
So he's
man.
probably a 5 technique in the NFL.
Just that closing on that last play, man. He made about 3 moves before he wasn't letting that guy out of there, man. I've seen a few cats like that, not letting a mouse get away. And
He's got that reach and power too, man. And that
Well, this is
motor.
Delaware. This is not Michigan,
motor,
even though
man.
Delaware's helmets look incredibly similar to Michigan's.
Yeah, but he got that smarts too. You know what I mean? Like he plays his position very well. He knows how to pursue. He knows when to stay. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like I got a chance to watch this guy play now. He's a senior, going to be in the draft this coming year. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a first rounder. He might very well be, depending on who wants to take him. But I mean, man, you got to put him in that list of some of the better defensive ends, man. I think he gives you that coach up kind of guy. I think he's got ability to get bigger and stronger. I mean, he's only at 290 pounds and 6'1", right? I mean, he almost has that ability to, like, if you lean him up a little bit, you know what I mean? And maybe put 10 pounds on him, get him to 300. You know what I'm saying? He could be a real threat. And I really like him in that inside technique.
I don't think he's a nose tackle, but I think he can play 43 defensive tackle.
Yeah.
I think he can play 5 technique on either side.
Yeah.
He can play 34 right end or 34 left end on either side.
Yeah. Because he has that power. He uses that low center of gravity to get under guys. You know what I mean? Even though he's only 6'1", he still has look right there how he's able to get up through there. You know what I mean?
He just demolished Illinois' interior. And Illinois got Josh Kreutz, the son of Olin Kreutz, as their center. And he is just demolishing him. And I remember we had Kreutz, I think we had a 6th or 7th on Kreutz in the preseason. Nobody's even talking about Kreutz now because of how bad Illinois played against Indiana and Penn State. I think those 2 games literally killed the draft stock of Josh Kreutz. And I'm sure Josh is a great kid, son of a former NFL Chicago Bears center, but those 2 games, the games against Indiana and this game where Durant is just blowing him away, it's just like,
Yeah, this is one of those guys that, I mean, fits. He would, should I say, fit into some kind of thing where with how what Shanahan is and Lynch are doing with the Niners, with players like Mikael Williams that can kick inside or out, just depending on where, just that versatility and that explosiveness, I mean, like you said, everything from 34 left end, right end, I mean, up to 3 technique. It just one of those things to where he's a player that can step in, and obviously, man, he has a lot of that. I have seen him in a lot of these mock drafts for all kinds of different teams, all over social media. When I was sitting there looking through the names, it was like Zane Durant. I mean, this guy was obviously one of the guys that a lot of people are gravitating towards, and I mean, they should be with what this guy's showing here on film. I mean, so.
William, do you think he's a first round pick or a second round?
I think probably a high second round pick. I think he's definitely capable of, whether that be someone like Shanahan, like I mentioned, going after that value
on a 34 team. I just don't know what team's going to want him.
Yeah, and it's definitely kind of up in the air. And I mean,
would he kind of fit with the Ravens? Maybe.
That's kind of where I put him. I put him at 250 on the simulator. He could get picked way before that. though, but I put him at 250 on the simulator because I was thinking we were looking at players with like potential grades of 87. We had like a big list of players, and
he's like at an 83 or something like that.
his floor is an 83. I think his ceiling's an 87, but he's a guy who can be he's got a really good floor. He's going to be an above average starter, I think, on the right team. I put him, but he has a floor. He has a floor of a day one starter, but I don't think his ceiling's very high. But I do think he'll be on a team. We'll see where he goes. Maybe he'll prove us wrong. Maybe he'll do a lot and have a really productive career. So I'm definitely curious to see what he does.
Maybe if not, Baltimore, maybe even the Jets might be a good spot for him, or
I
maybe
can see
even
the Steelers taking him and grooming him behind Hayward for a few years.
Well,
if he gets to day 3, not in day 2, if he gets to day 3 with Ron,
maybe.
I'm thinking I don't think they would do it before the 5th round though. The odds are he's probably not going to be there because even though I have him at 250, most of the boards Williams check have him going
higher
round.
Yeah,
5.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's going to be a second day guy.
He's still available in the group mock too, by the way. So
I mean, I just think he's going to be a second day guy.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Maybe relatively early second day. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And I see a team like Baltimore or maybe even the 49ers might not be a bad fit for him too. You know what I mean? As far as what's that?
I mean, his floor seems high enough. I mean, he can easily make it into a rotation somewhere. I would definitely think, you can never have too many defensive line, and I mean, from what we were just watching, I mean, absolutely blowing up some of these guys. I mean, I definitely see his floor pretty far up there. So,
is this good enough, William? I've got the garlic and I've got the teaspoon. Is that enough? I think that's enough.
I'll let you be the judge of it all, man.
I can't believe you guys are doing that.
Don't worry to impress me, man. I'm
glad you lost the bet. I'm glad you lost the bet on this, man, because otherwise.
And I'm guessing I'm not allowed to drink coffee until after the podcast ends, correct?
No, I wouldn't do that to you, Chris. Go ahead, man. Have something to watch that now.
Wait, we should see this full screen, I think.
Yeah, I'll stop screen.
Yeah, we got to do this full screen. Hold on. Yeah, there we go.
This wasn't that bad, actually. Yeah, this actually wasn't that bad.
Of course, one of these days.
I'm not going to do as much, but this wasn't bad.
So you mixed it with the honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way you can do it, man, because otherwise it'll burn.
Yeah, the garlic.
Yeah, it'll be bad.
For sure.
Woo, boy.
At this rate, one of these days, the camera will go on and one of us is going to have pink hair, or,
Yeah, that
a reverse mohawk.
I thought that would be brutal. The honey actually makes it bearable.
So
no honey next time, man.
I guess no honey next
time. Right. Yeah, no honey next time. So when you get the Scoville scales, right? You start getting the burn on the peppers and everything, right? So they tell you that the best way to quelch the burn is basically a sugar water, right? Yes. And not to swallow it. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Not to swallow it, but to swish it around, right, and spit it out. Because think about that. You swallow that's going down your pipe.
It is.
Right? And this too shall pass, right? You give me so you definitely want to spit it, but that's one of the things that they use is sugar water.
Yeah, for sure. when I was a kid, I'm a fire eater from way back, and there's always something, but marshmallows were for that time when you eat something really hot and then you accidentally let the pepper touch your lips and then everything starts burning. Man, I was about 8 years old. Let me tell you, I was sticking marshmallows to my lips. He's so rooster tailed about this long.
I'm gonna go put this back.
Let me tell you, I got trained in a hurry.
Broncos made a pick in the group mock. I know Ron just
All
took the Miami tackle Markel Bell at 110.
Yeah. I got to tell you, though, first of all, thanks, everybody, for watching and tuning in and checking us out. Hop on over to, what is it here? Under the Bleachers, right? Check them guys out. They're on Facebook. You're on social media. Check out William. Check out Chris. Make sure you get subscribed. Hop on over to Draft Utopia. Hop on over to the Facebook page and all that stuff. And make sure you get subscribed and all that stuff, too, man, because I think we're going to have some pretty good shows coming up here. And I thought this was a really great look at some defenders from the puck to the field or to the puck and ball, right?
Puck, ball,
Yeah.
Puck rink versus field. Harold, we just
amazing,
got the pick. It's Harold Perkins Jr. out of LSU. That's who the Broncos picked.
Okay.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm excited, man. The draft is in Pittsburgh this year. I'm excited about the NHL draft. I am absolutely going to be trying my darndest to try to be there for that one.
I would definitely go to that.
I'm definitely jealous.
I've been able to cover a couple of games this past year and this past season, at least, for some USHL teams, man. And I got to tell you, it was amazing. It was one of the greatest.
I was telling Anthony when we were at the UPMC Classic in Pittsburgh, I was telling Anthony at the USHL Classic, you got to look at Trage Ball. And I kept talking with the GOAT coaches about Trage Ball. And I read the mock drafts because I was going through because Bill Plazik of Lions had like a 7-round NHL mock-up in September, and they had Trage Ball in round 6 in September. He's now in round 2, and he could potentially get into round 1. I mocked him to Pittsburgh in round 1 after the Olympic break ended because I think
he's been He's been got to interview him after the All-American game, the Chipotle All-American game.
I was ahead of the country on Fowler 2 years ago, not to brag, but I was saying Fowler could be a Mahomes-type goalie, and I had him as my number 1 goalie, 22nd best player in the 23 draft. He fell the 3rd round, and Montreal got him at pick 69. So Montreal got their number 1 defender and their number 1 goalie. Only 2 other teams have done that in the draft over the past. Devils did it in 22, even though the goalie they drafted stunk, and the Dallas Stars did it in 2017 with Jake Ottinger and Miro Heiskanen.
Yep, I absolutely can't wait until this draft. Like I said,
I love Jake Ottinger to Colorado. I'm just glad Colorado didn't listen to me on that one, because if they did, they'd be unstoppable. They'd be like in the 2000s when they were a wagon with Patrick Waugh.
Man, could you imagine Colorado with Ottinger? I mean, they've kind of had a patchwork goaltending at best. Even the year they won the cup, right? They kind of were.
Had the goalie from the Coyotes, Darcy Kumper, and he took over for the guy on Seattle who
Grubauer.
And then Grubauer beat him the next year in the playoffs. But they've got 2 stopgap goalies, Wedgwood and Blackwood. Blackwood was my number 1 goalie in 2015, but I had Aiden Hill as a sleeper that year because I really like what Aiden Hill did with the Portland Winterhawks that year in the McDavid draft.
Okay.
So we'll see. And they've got Ilya Nabokov in their prospect pool. In the 2024 NHL draft, the Colorado Avalanche took the first goalie. Even though they didn't have a first-round pick, they took Ilya Nabokov.
That's
So they're developing him, the Russian goalie.
I like that pick. I like that pick. But
he won a KHL Cup in his draft year, but it's like I figured he'd be a third round pick. I didn't think he'd go as high as he did, but they're developing him, and if Nabokov becomes any good, the Avalanche are going to have Stars are going to have a lot of problems. I'll just say that much and leave it at that.
Yeah, definitely. Coming up, like you mentioned, having the ice versus turf, an offensive show. I think what I'll actually end up doing tonight is putting together a poll or two to see in some of our groups which players our viewers.
Yeah. So we've got
that's a good
two
idea.
shows coming up on Draft Utopia. We've got the WNBA mock draft show on Saturday, and then Monday the WNBA draft. Next Wednesday it'll be Ice versus Turf offensive edition, and then the Saturday after that's the trifecta, the Grand Salame, the triple play. You get Stanley Cup predictions with Ron and I. You get NBA playoff predictions with Joey and myself, and then you get the 7-round mock draft. I've only got the first 4 picks of that up, so I'm pretty much going to have to grind through that as soon as this is over. And I'm going to have to get the WNBA simulator up to 45. That's only at 40 players. But once we get that up to 45, maybe 50 players, it's nobody business with the NFL mock. But yeah,
there you go.
That's it for this edition of Under the Bleachers. But the thumbnails for Saturday and Monday have already been set up. And I'll probably set up the I don't know what the thumbnail will be for next Saturday. Stanley Cup, I want to because NBA playoffs, and I want to. William and I were going to have to cook something up for next Saturday as well, because with all those topics, it does feel like a combine or a Super Bowl show or one of our longer shows with all that on a Saturday.
I mean, that's the whole. I mean, I think just the second season for the NHL has to be a separate show. But that's just me,
Well, we'll probably go live on Talk Show at 9 a.m., but I can make the stream separate. Like, I can make the NHL stream separate, and then we'd have the NBA and NHL stream at, 10 or 11 whenever I'm done with Ron. But, that's something we can do as well.
I mean, it might not be... I think that might not be a bad idea, because I think it's worthy of its own show. Just talking about... Because there's so many teams, there's so many... I think I'm going to make 3. I think I'm going to make 3 videos for that, because I think the 7-round mock people are going to want the 7-round mock to be its own video. They can listen to the whole show on Talk Shoe. We can post a link to the Talk Shoe. We can post a link to the Draft Simulator. But I feel like our NBA fans are just going to want the NBA playoff picks. Our NFL fans are going to want the mock draft, the 7-round mock, and our NHL fans are going to want Ron and I's playoff picks. So we're probably going to have to put 3 different videos together for next week. So both of us are going to have work coming up, but I'm not going to post those thumbnails, those 3 thumbnails for next week until until I get the thumbnail from William for and then the drafts the week after that. So time is flying by very quickly. Well, and also the USHL Clark Cup those playoffs start this week as well, so I'll be definitely tuning into quite a bit of those as well.
Someone texted me if I'm working on the OHL draft. The OHL draft got moved back to June. It used to be in April. It got moved back to June with the QMJHL draft. And
okay.
Hear that got way Good too deal. Much.
I'm never going to come up with a mock draft because I'm all about the kids getting drafted. I don't
Western
really care
Hockey
where they go.
Is in, Western Hockey League's in May sometime. I will do a stream for that probably next month. But yeah, they're pushing from December back to June because MLS is going to have a summer winter schedule instead of going from February to December. ML from late July to May with the MLS playoffs right around the time the NFL draft starts. So I don't
Okay.
agree with soccer on that one, but yeah, the 2027 MLS draft, it's probably going to be in June of 2027 with all the other drafts, OHL, NBA.
Okay.
It's going to replace, because MLB used to be in June, it got moved to the All-Star break. The MLB draft, it used to be in June with those other
Wow.
two.
Okay.
And then it got moved, but yeah. This has been a pretty long show. I want to thank Ron for coming on and William for setting. And see you next week.
For sure, guys. Thank you so much for being here. You as well, Ron.
You bet.
And
Thanks, everybody.
like I said, next week we'll have that offense, turf versus ice, and we'll see how it ends up with the poll results on who we're reviewing. So
Yeah, there you go.